And oil prices have continued to strengthen as violence in Libya further stokes uncertainty on the markets, and the United Nations imposed sanctions on the country. To discuss the macroeconomic impact of the oil surge, we're now joined by Professor Ismail Erturk from Manchester Business School. Thank you very much for joining us. How will surging oil prices impact inflation?
Well, inflation was going up in certain countries like in the UK and now in the US as well, without a big increase in oil prices. But definitely this political instability and uncertainty will push oil prices and inflation globally to a higher level.
What happened to the so-called currency wars? Have high oil prices and inflation put an end to them for now?
I think we have the American Fed's quantitative easing, which originally started the currency wars by putting pressure on Brazilian real and even Russian ruble, and also the debate between US and China about the renminbi's value. But I don't think, I mean, it is one way of discussing currency wars because US was kind of blaming China for manipulating its currency, and then the Brazilians, the BRIC countries, said no, it is the quantitative easing in the US who's the cause of manipulation, because by reducing interest rates through intervention, money supply, you can influence the currency rates as well. So I think that was the sort of debate between the countries, and the term currency wars was used. But I think we'll have turmoil in currency markets. So basically, we have more instability. Like sterling is because of higher inflation in the UK and expected interest rate rise in the UK is going to come under, I think, pressure in currency markets. And we have uncertainty in Europe about the debt problem in Greece. It's not really solved. People are talking about whether Greece should whether it's going to default or restructure debt, and the problems in Ireland and Portugal and so on. So Euro will be under pressure, and these current sort of instability, uncertain oil prices will not help Euro either. And US as well, increasing inflation in the US due to higher oil prices will put some pressure on dollar as well, because we expect a slight increase in interest rates in the States. So I think we're going to have lots of turmoil, uncertainty in currency markets in countries like Russia as well. I mean, ruble is benefiting from higher energy prices, but is it sustainable, and so on. So it's going to be a very rough sort of seas as far as currencies are concerned, I think, in the next 2-3 years. But fundamentally, we haven't really solved globally the financial crisis. We have weak banks, financial markets not operating properly, and then now this political uncertainty being added. We'll see lots of turmoil in currency markets.
Speaking about the ruble, what do you think about the idea of internationalizing the ruble? Would it help push Moscow into an international financial center?
Well, at the moment, I mean, with the ruble-denominated bonds being sort of popular with some sectors in the investment world, whether that can sort of make ruble an international currency that people would like to invest in, and investors and the central bankers would like to keep. I think there's a long way to go. Because the economic fundamentals in Russia really needs to change, and the export from Russia need to diversify rather than relying on a volatile sort of commodity. But I think it's very important for ruble to. I mean, we currently have hedge funds and international investors seeing currencies as an asset class in itself. So I think Russian authorities need to be careful. These ruble-denominated bonds don't make a ruble as an asset class, but as a currency that reflects the fundamentals of the country, and for exporters and the investors in the country to be able to make long-term investment decisions without sort of worrying about what will happen to ruble in the next 6 months or next 2 years. But I think the banking system is very important to the extent that the Russian banks are stable, strong, and the central bank has an authority. I think those institutional strengths are as important as issuing ruble-denominated bonds in international markets.
But that's still a long way for the ruble to go before it becomes a reserve currency, right?
I believe so.
Thank you very much for your analysis, Ismail Erturk from Manchester Business School.
Pleasure.